I'm just gonna mute. So welcome everyone to the 3-day staggering absence. Thank you so much for coming. So what's being expressed there is this staggering absence, the endless stories weaving tales of nothing, the whispering echoes of the timeless, the dancing in perfect unison with stillness, the infinite forming a temporal circle to see its own nothingness, the innocent play of mischievous hide and seek, the passionate expression for no one, the exquisite game of light and dark without any participants, a story without an origin or conclusion, this wondrous mystery without a solver, the lightness of not being a being, the ecstatic ride of non-doing, the depth of sadness, the intensity of pain, the gladness, the wowness, the everythingness, the nothingness, this childlike wonder of this. So this, and always this. No matter what shows up, it's always this. It's always this no matter what this is. And this unknowable this inseparable, indivisible disappearance of this can appear as bliss, can appear as pain, can appear as gain. This can appear as finally, or, oh no, I got this and I lost this. So this is permanently this. This is unicity. This is singularity. Although this has been overused, let's remix. Kind of like, everyone says, this is it. How about it is this? It is always this. It is always forever, infinitely this. And no matter what this is unchangeable. But seemingly changes appear. But seemingly something happens and nothing happens at the same time. Seemingly there's this emptiness and fullness appearing. But what this is cannot really be fully be comprehended, because what's being described is that this is always this, and this is unknowable. And this is complete. Oftentimes, there's always the seeking gets catapulted into the start of basically saying, there's got to be something other than this. There's got to be something better than this. This is not good enough. This is not acceptable. This is whatever. Even that appearing as an acceptance or an acceptance, a rejection or a surrender or whatever seems to appear, there's always this. So what this that is being expressed here is the this that cannot be comprehended, but it's always there. The this that's being expressed here is there when there is loneliness, sadness, gladness, ecstatic joy, whatever this is. So many things have been said about this, but no one has gotten this, because this is this. And this does not really require any understanding. This doesn't really require any awareness. This doesn't really require any solving, because this mystery doesn't have a solver. This emptiness, this nothingness, whatever comes in these words are veiling it, but it's also it. So the veil and this is the same. So you can also say that emptiness and illusion are equally the same. Not to cancel each other out, but seemingly coexisting, but not really existing at the same time. So the clarity is that there's nothing to be figured out, because this will be whatever it is. And this can appear as many words, can appear as nothing, can appear as empty, can appear as whatever words. But this unconditional love does not require an input, does not require a division, a solution, an addition. It's immeasurable. Unconditional love is appearing as always this, and nothing can be taken away from this. So what this is is this and this and this and this and this, and even that. There's nothing outside of this. There's also nothing inside of this. There's no outside or inside. There's no knowing or unknowing. And let's even go further. There's no unconditional love. There's no emptiness, because these are just empty words. Or what's being expressed here is this energetic overflowing of something that cannot be comprehended, something that cannot be gotten. In this infinite silence, in this staggering absence, everything is allowed to appear. Questions, answers are the same. Right or wrong are the same. Left or right, good or evil, it's all appearing in this. So in this magnificence, everything is always what it is. You can't seek this because this will always be this. So even seeking is this. And not seeking is also this. So there's nothing that can be done, nothing that can be undone, because this will always be infinitely this. And again, these are words that are empty. These are words that are just basically stating the obvious. It's so obvious that it's often missed because this appears in everything. And often it's said that all that there is this, and there's nothing outside of this. So this is just a simplification of something that does not even need simplification, because it's too obvious that it's often missed by simplification or making it complicated. So there's no processing. There's no getting to here and this. There's nothing outside of this. Everything is this. And in the next 3 days, I'm going to be sharing some poetry, some children's stories for grown-ups that I've been writing for the past few days. There's just been this overflowing expression of this, and this never really ends. And this appears in every poetry, in every play, in every movie, in every thought, in every imagination. And this also appears without imagination, because this can never be absent in anything, but it's always absent. And this clarity is always here. This obviousness is always present. This directness, this radiance, whatever name you want to call it, can never ever leave. When this is seen, it cannot be unseen. But this is always seen. It's infinitely seen. And it's never been absent, but it's always absent. And it's not, and this is not a, and this is not some kind of a Zen koan or a riddle or something, because there's nothing to figure out. Also, even trying to figuring out is also this. So what's just being expressed here, that it's always this, always eternally this. And this does not even need a talk. But somehow this is appearing as a talk about this. Somehow there's going to be some 3 days discussing this. There's going to be some questions and answer that's going to be this. So this is the treeing. So this is the wind winding. This is the sitting down sitting. This is the chair chairing. If you take away the chair, it's just this. If you take away the me, it's just this. If you take away the no me, it's just this. If you take away the emptiness or the fullness, it's just this. And this is even saying too much, because this cannot really be expressed in a word or words or a series of words. It's just expressing this, but it cannot be fully expressed because this appears in everything. And it's not in anything at the same time. And this clarity can also be madness, can also be some confusion about this. But there's nothing wrong or right. It's always clearly this. So if you have any questions, please go ahead. We're going to start with some Q&A. Linus goes, if it's for grown-ups, I feel left out. Well, it's for children of all ages. So I started writing this book with an illustrator, and I was writing one story, and then I wrote another story, and another story, and another story. So it became a series of stories, and it reminded me of Grimm's fairy tale. You know, when the first edition, the it's basically a Germanic kind of like, you know, history of oral tales about children who are suffering. And it kind of clicked one day, and I was like, oh, wow. So I have about 20 stories so far, and it just keeps on increasing. Some of them are cautionary tale for seeking, and some of them are about just the obviousness of this. So sometimes it's so very simple. This communication is very simple that it can be understood or not understood. It can be even told as a fairy tale. So I'll share that maybe in the next session. I'll share one of the stories about it. I have so much fun writing it, and I can't wait to share some of the stories with you guys. What is fear? Fear is just another word for this. But but fear is just another illusory expression of this. So everything is an expression of this, including fear, love, jealousy, hunger, pain. It's the illusory appearance of something that cannot really be fully expressed. You can also say that the fear is an illusion. There's no such thing as fear. You can also see it's just a reaction of something. So for example, someone tries to push you over a cliff, then the fear arises. But what seems to appear is also not appearing. There's another question here. Oh, hi, Anne. Lovely to see you too. There is no such thing as control. Who's controlling? Who's running the show? There's an illusion. There's an apparent realistic expression that there's something that there's a doer. But like in a nighttime dream, everything that appears in a dream is an illusion. So everything that appears in this apparent dream, like fear or control, is an illusion, because there's no one doing any of it. There's no one in a dream, so to speak. It's just what's appearing to happen. For example, in a nighttime dream, you could be dreaming that there's a fearful person that really wants to be in control of everything, and that could be you. But the moment that there is an awakeness, all of that collapses. So everything that seems to happen in this apparent daily appearance, fear, joy, vanishes. It's not solid. It's empty. There's no reality to it. It seems to appear and disappear simultaneously. But since there is no time, the appearance of from here to there is a complete illusion. It's all happening due to the story being created. Um, this is a mystery, right? So it's really happening for no reason. Because to say that it's being created is saying that there's a creator or there is a controller. What's being expressed here does not have any controller, does not have any source. It's just appearing as it is. It's a knowable this. You could also say that in the story arising that, of everything's happening for no apparent reason. It seemed to have a reason in the story. It seemed to have a meaning in the story, but it's all a story. So everything in the story is a story. Let me correct that. Everything in the story is a fictional story. There's no such thing as true. There's no such thing as fictional even. It's just a story that defies any logic or understanding. It's just story appearing as something that is real, but it's also unreal at the same time. So what seems to be appearing is this appearance of a felt sense reality, like realness, gravity, breathing, talking, sound, visions, colors, whatever seems to appear, contractions, contradictions. And then the moment that it appears, it also disappears. But no one notices it because there is this illusion of time. So sometimes fear can be prolonged. In the story, it's maintained as a story. For example, someone says that, like a little kid, for example, calls out, "Mommy, there's a monster in the closet." And the mommy comes in and the mommy points out that it's just a hanger in the shadow. And then, 10 minutes later, "Mommy, there's a monster under the bed." And the mommy will say, "It's just a broom." Or "Mommy, there, just keeps on going and going and going." So all of this story just keeps on going. It maintains the identity, the separate identity of the individual that's apparently experiencing this. So it's a maintenance of a story. So everything in the story is to maintain that it's a real story. But when it's seen that nothing is really happening, all the stories collapses and it's seen as meaningless and pointless. Like a movie, sometimes you'll be watching a movie and there is this engagement in it, but after the movie finishes, none of that really happened. Or sometimes when you're dreaming at night, it feels absolutely real. It feels completely, completely, engaged and realistic and reactive. And then the moment the credits roll in, there is this kind of like, oh, or the moment kind of like you wake up, there's this slight kind of like remembrance, like a hangover of the story or a feeling of the story. But as soon as as soon as another story comes in, that story is not no longer in existence. So there seems to be an appearance that lingers, like a scent. Sometimes when the story arises, it seems so real and the mind seems to latch onto it. See, yeah, so it seems so real that there's also a thinking that there's a mind, but there's not even a mind that latches onto it. It's just a story latching to its story. It's just a story recycling or reacting to a story to maintain that it's real. So in this appearance of reality, in this appearance that this is really happening, that this is something that is a true story, everything in the appearance is just a maintenance that it's real. It's going to be dualistic. It's going to be this or that. It's going to be day or night, here and now, this or that, you and I. So there's this dualistic, expression in the dream without a dreamer. So even the perception that there is someone dreaming automatically divides what is this indivisible this into something that is dualistic. But if you take away all of the meaning, all of the words, it's just words are really empty. They really don't have any meanings whatsoever. Like, for example, if you say this is true and this is false, but true and false are both words that contains a collection of, 26 letters and phonetics, and sometimes etymology. But all the words that sound as appearing, if you take this immediate instance, is really, really meaningless. It's pointless. Hello, iPhone.
Hi, Emerson. How are you?
Oh, good. How you doing?
Good. Okay, I love what you just said. A story reacting to a story to maintain a story.
Yes.
Okay, so crazy. I really, really noticed that so often in this character. And I noticed that when I go to react to that story, to maintain that story, the yuckiest feeling is felt.
Yeah.
And I almost like sometimes I can stop within my words and be like, like
Yes.
backtrack a little bit. And it's so funny because it's happened twice this week where the other person would never have known. And I was on a phone call with two different people, 2 different days, two totally different scenarios. And I felt it after I hung up and I called them right back just to BS about, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So it was almost like I needed to like call back and I needed to like, I don't know. I know I'm using I, of course, but like
Oh,
to
that's
just
okay.
like
That's all right.
do a reality check in the reacting because I
Yeah.
felt they would never have noticed, but I felt like I knew I was reacting to a story to maintain a story. And it took me to hang up and to call back. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I kind of had to do it just to get over that story.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
walk through that story.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, totally. It's like, when you see two mirrors, facing each other, it reflects infinitely. So there's infinite possibilities of the story. So it could be a reaction, it could be a non-reaction, but both are illusions. It could be a calling back or not calling back, but both are stories. It could
Yeah.
they just possibilities are endless. And the languaging that is used, it's like, I don't know if you played broken telephone.
Yeah.
The moment that there's just this narrative, and then 10 minutes later it completely morphs into a different narrative. For example, if somebody says I am fine, and the other person goes, are they really fine, or they're just saying that? Is that they always say that when they're mad, or
Right.
there must be something behind the meaning of I'm fine, because I remember the tone that he used is just completely it's not really fine. So you call the person and said, are you really fine? Is everything fine? And the person goes, yeah, I'm completely all right. What's wrong with you? Nothing. And then the person hangs up again. And then the other person goes, there must be something wrong with me. And it just becomes this elaborate kind of like story, right? It's just a maintenance of this. It's entertaining. It's
Yeah.
entertaining.
Crazy. And
Yeah.
what was really funny about it was when I called both people, I called and talked about something totally different. Like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, like something totally different. But
Yeah.
one of the people, it went back to that original conversation. And this time I walked through it totally just listening.
Yeah.
Like that reaction, because it was just me reacting to my own belief and story about it.
Oh,
Like that's not
totally.
even necessary.
Totally. It's just so yeah, it's so amazing how everything is just this is it's almost like this, again, like this reflection of nothing. It or echoes of silence. And the echoes of silence can appear as this sound of like, oh, nothing or something, or and then everything in between. So there's
Yeah.
just this, it's a kaleidoscope of illusions, right? It just changes, but it's the same thing.
But you really can see how unnecessary the reacting to the story is. But with that being said,
Yeah.
when reacting is happening, there's nothing the person can do to stop it. It
Oh,
just,
no, no,
there's
no.
no control. Like there's nothing you can do.
Yeah. Totally. For example, I was kind of like talking to someone, and then the internet company built incorrectly billed me $1,000 more for my internet. So of course, like I'm reacting. I'm reacting, kind of like, you know what? I said, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but let me talk. Let's escalate this to a higher kind of like. So I felt like complaining, but that's just what's happening. It's just a reaction.
You
It's
can't,
just a
there's no
reaction. Yeah.
stopping it.
There's no stopping it. Yeah. There's no
And
stopping
the
it.
more all the techniques that I've done and learned in the past, inquiry and breathing through it
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
that stuff, that doesn't even work to
No.
stop the reacting, because there's absolutely no way to stop the body from doing whatever it's going to do. It's just literally a happening.
It's just a happening, and it's not something that is even really happening, right? It's kind of like, when you're dreaming at night, the dream just flows and there's no stopping the dream until there's an awakeness that happens like in the morning or something. It just happens, and it can derail, it could be blissful or whatever, but there's no one doing any of it.
Right.
So it's just that there's just this lucidity, this flowness, right? That no one is doing any of this. Kind of like what I was saying earlier. It's kind of like when it's pain, it's pain. When it's reaction, it's reaction. When it's frustration, it's frustration. But since it's seen as something that's not really occurring, since there's nothing, the seriousness is gone. So even if you get really serious, you're not serious about it. Even if you got frustrated, there's no one frustrated. It's just frustration happening. So it's like an allergic reaction. When winter comes or summer comes, depending on your allergies, you can't stop the sneeze. The sneeze will keep on going.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy.
Or hiccups happen.
Yeah, right. And you really can't stop hiccups.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. It's like, oh, I just had a hiccup.
Yeah. You can take all the sugar or whatever you're supposed to do, but it doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, someone actually corrected me. Someone said that they can stop a hiccup, but that's also, that's also what's happening. But yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Okay. Bye. Thank you for doing this.
Lauren and then Kathy. Hey, Lauren. Hello.
Hi, Emerson.
Hi.
Hi. I love your minimalist space.
Oh, thank you.
Right.
It's an illusion.
Yeah, I know. So I really enjoyed the video that you sent in the message for this weekend.
Yes.
Where you were chatting with somebody about your dog in the morning and the beauty of the sunrise, and
it's really epic when there are no words, right? When there's no chatter, when it's just seen as a sunrise, and there's just this it's like there's this explosion of visuals, right? That when there's just this clarity, and it's just I can't remember what I said, so maybe
the last time that I talked to you, you talked about the dog going into the door
with the stick. Yeah.
And I really that's come up whenever I've thought about, I need to practice, I need to get somewhere. I'm like, oh.
There's nothing wrong with it, saying, but it's kind of like my dog trying to different angles, right? And then basically kind of like basically kind of drops the stick, and all of a sudden, okay, I'm in.
Definitely there's a longing to be at one with what is,
So this is already at one. There's just this, the longing is also this. So it's always this. So the this is longing for this, which is always this. So whatever this is this. So this is what's being longed for. The absence, the fullness, excuse me, everything is this already. So trying to there's there's nothing wrong with the appearance of trying to get this and everything, the wholeness and everything. But what's being expressed is that It's already completely this, whatever it is. And like sometimes, like in the morning, sometimes it's not always going to be this, like for example, today it's really, really cloudy. And there's no, I could not see the sunrise or whatever. And there seems to be an automatic, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like, the app there. I'm not even going to mention that announces what this should be, which is perfect, actually. For example, it's a cloudy, and basically the narrative will be like, well, yesterday was a really glorious day and it was really sunshiny and beautiful, and this is horrible. But no matter what kind of like, what chatter comes, what kind of narrating comes, it's still this.
It's very spatial for me, like this or reality that is here.
Yeah.
Is very, like when you talk about it, it's also this.
Yeah.
It feels as though there's a field or a cloud, or a cloud has a negative connotation, but I just mean an energy field that is separate.
Because there is a separate idea of what this should be. So the this that's being talked about does not really appear in ideas, meaning that it's present in everything. I'm just using the word this for lack of a better word, right? Because I could say emptiness, and that's a little bit more floral, which is really nice. So it's always emptiness. So emptiness does not really have a field. For example, in any appearance of, illusory memories about whatever happens, it's always, there's for anything to happen, there's always a blank space. There's always this spaciousness for all of this to appear. So for example, for any movie to appear, there's always a screen. For any music to be listened to, there's always silence. For any recording, I'm saying, that's recorded, silence is recorded along with the silence, with the sound, but the sound can't exist without the silence. So when I'm saying this includes everything. I'm just trying to simplify and maybe kind of like, expand on, when it said that all that there is this. That's a complete statement. So whatever is this, it could be this feeling that there's a spatial kind of like limitation or a field, you know what I'm saying? That's also it. It's like this is playing hide and seek as a spatial, as a boundary, when it's actually boundless. So every interpretation, every expression of play is allowed. So there could be a play of contraction, a play of expansion, and that's just it's like emptiness peekabooing itself, peekaboo, peekaboo. Saying it's like it's here, it's not there, it's here, it's not there. So I always say this: it appears in everything. It appears in every cell, and every time that you blink your eyes, breathing, heart pumping blood, the trees, the wind, everything contracts and opens. Everything throbs, in and out. So even the limited, feeling that this is not it, is also the limitless appearing as limited.
Yes. And the experiences in the past have shaped, obviously, in the apparent past, have shaped my current, ideas about what is. So it doesn't necessarily feel separate fully, because, for example, in traffic, I feel like, okay, I can feel some anger radiating from that driver.
Well, let's just put it this way. If you're dreaming, if you had that in a nighttime dream,
right? Okay.
And there will be another driver. So even that perception that there's another driver collapses the moment that you wake up.
Yeah.
So it's just a singular perception. It's a perception of others. And then when it's seen that even the one that's perceiving it is not real, none of it is real. Yeah. It's like when a nighttime dream that you feel like, nighttime dream that you feel that you've been wronged, right? that all of these people have wronged you. And then you wake up, you're like, oh, well, that's not true. That's the same. And even let's even just use kind of like, that's just even kind of like that last night's kind of like stuff. Sometimes you forget, most oftentimes you forget about it, but it feels really real. It feels completely kind of like, oh, I can feel that person kind of like staring at me and about have to road rage with me. And that's just your perception. Yeah. And then the next day you're like, oh yeah. And then you're driving again and you see that person again, it all comes back apparently, right?
Yes.
It's like a recurring dream. Have you ever had a recurring dream? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It feels absolutely real. So even in a dream, in a dream, there's this, I used to dream about this place that I used to live in, but it became a mall and it became a school. And all of a sudden I was in high school. And then all of a sudden it's just this crazy dream, right? Yeah. But that dream has a continuous narrative in the dream thing. I always go back there and everything. It's the same as this. This meeting is a recurring dream. This is a recurring dream of like, I'm having this meeting in Zoom with Emerson and everything, but none of this is real. But it feels real, doesn't it?
There was Thich Nhat Hanh had this saying or teaching that, there's a fisherman and he's out fishing and then a boat knocks into him and he turns so angry that someone hit him and it was an empty boat. And so the idea is that it's all just empty boats. And then this message says that like, well, this is also an empty boat.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's just all emptiness. It's just all this. It's all this boundless energy. It's all this play of wholeness. It's just oneness playing by itself. And it can't be comprehended because the part of the play is the reality of separation. That's why it's a perfect play. It's a perfect illusion. It's a well-played perfect illusion that there's no kind of like there's no way out of it. The illusion will always function as an illusion. So everything that it does is illusory. Everything that it sees is illusory. Everything that it practices is illusory. Everything that it experiences is illusory. And this illusion is this perfect illusion that seemingly starts at like birth and then ends at death, although there's no birth and death. And the illusion seems to be this linear time that's happening when I was 5 years old, when I'm 50 years old, when I'm 70 years old. But all of that is an illusion because there's this illusion that something happened yesterday or something's going to happen tomorrow, but let's just do the reveal that there's only this. So all of the past, all of the future appears in this apparent moment. And it's so hard to comprehend, right? It's so hard to comprehend. So when there's only this, trying to practice or trying to lean in or go inward or outward in this is missing this. So it could be a traffic jam, it could be a road rage happening. And there's this kind of like what I said, it's the sadness, it's the anger, it's the fullness of this illusion. It's kind of like, it's the fullness of this is the dream. It's kind of like when there is a perfect illusion and it feels absolutely real, when it's not rejected because there's no one rejecting it. It's just the fullness of it. So there's this appearance of pain, there's appearance of frustration, or kind of like I feel like I'm in a spatial kind of like compounded or contracted or something. That's what it is. It's appearing as that. The unknowable is appearing as that. The emptiness is appearing as this rage, this calling the manager to kind of like about my internet bill. It appears as that. But funny enough, saying when after that, because there's this fullness of it, and then there's another appearance or an apparition. It could be your dog, kind of like, it's just a beautiful show if you really look at it. It's just a full fully immersed, realistic show of what reality is, but there's no reality because this is all emptiness, or this is all this, let's just say, infinity, or the unknowable God. See, someone complaining that I don't mention the word God because it's just whatever it is. It doesn't have a name. And this nameless comes in many different names, comes in many different forms, comes in many different sensations, comes in many different feelings. It's all of it. It's all of it. And that's the wow, right? That's the kind of like, wow, you know what? All this time I'm trying to get rid of this, but it's also that.
Yeah.
Or I'm trying to deny it, or trying to whatever practices, because I did a practice for a long time. And when I did all that practice, all I kept on doing was rejecting it, rejecting this. And of course, I will have an illusory this of silence or whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever I was trying to attain at that time. And I would have it momentarily. And then once it gets distracted, I would kind of like, try to maintain it again. But it's an empty boat, as you say. No matter what it is, it's an empty boat. No matter how hard the collision is, it's an empty boat.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's really nothing. So thoughts, chatter, feelings of I feel, I had a really good, 3 days of woohoo. And then this 3 days is going to be boohoo.
Right.
It's the same thing. It's just one word different, one letter different, the woohoo and the boohoo. it's just so phenomenal that it's so obvious that um the unknowable emptiness, whatever the unnameable, appears as in many different expressions. It can express as whatever it is. And then sometimes, it's kind of funny because there's it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal when it's seen that it's this. But what I mean by phenomenal, it could be phenomenally painful.
Okay.
It could be ouch, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, because it sees itself as empty, as an empty boat, everything that appears passes through.
Yeah.
Everything that seems to kind of like latch on drops, can't, it's like Teflon now. It just slips away. It's like when you're waking up from a really bad nightmare, no matter how horrific it is, it slips away, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe you get up, drink a glass of water, you can like, that felt really real. Or wipe your tears if someone dies in your dream. It feels absolutely, riveting. It's so realistic. Or even watching a movie, I was watching a movie, and I'm a fan of horror movies, and I jump like maybe 5 feet from my chair when I get jump scared.
Oh my God.
But I love it. I love it. Saying my friends make fun of me if they take me to a theater, saying they're like, they're like, all of a sudden when I like jump and make all of these sounds, they erupt in laughter. It's a comedy for them. But there's this engagement in it. Or sometimes with music, you can walk in the morning and listen to the most beautiful music and tears are falling down your face. Or when you're kind of like running and you're hearing ska and punk and and heavy metal, and it's just so powerful that this unknowable appears as punk music, as a beautiful aria by Mary Callas. So wonderful. It's no different from the feelings and sensations that we feel that doesn't really have any meaning. So if someone's screaming at you, it's the same as a recording of Dead Kennedys, making you feel, that kind of thing, or DOA. It is the same, someone you're falling in love with someone. It's the same as listening to Pavarotti. I'm singing kind of like a beautiful song. Or the same as watching kind of like a YouTube of an animal reuniting with its human that went to the army or something, right? It's this beautiful expression of nothing, but then nothing has all the feels. It's got all the feels to it. So the nothing that you know, there's no you to know. The emptiness that what is, the interpretation of it is incomprehensible. Because when we think of emptiness, we just see an empty field or sky or nothing or a blank screen. But that's arriving at something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So emptiness can never see itself because it's whole and complete. It doesn't have any subject object.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Kathy.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, Kathy. How are you doing?
Hello, Emerson. How you doing?
Excellent.
I love the
Excellent.
background. I thought it was real, but anyway, I got a little bit offset by the hat.
Oh.
Winter hats, with the triangles and all that.
It's kind of cold today here in Canada.
Oh.
That's why it's Canada.
Yeah. It's been hot here. I haven't put the heat on yet. It's like great. Oh yeah. Well, anyway, no, you just said something. It just blew me away because I was going to talk about fairy tales, but now, did you actually say, I had to write things down because my mind just, everything goes like that. Plus the fact I got vaccinated yesterday. Woo! So happy. I could finally be outside, go
You can
somewhere.
come to Canada.
Yeah, I could. I can go. I can travel now. I
Yes.
haven't been out of the house in over a year.
Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, in the
Wow.
summer, I went once or twice
Yeah.
someplace, but even though there was nobody here, I put all kinds of parameters on who, the car, who was in, whatever. It's really, the COVID thing kind of screwed me up. But anyway, I don't want to go there. It's old
No
news.
worries. No worries.
But did you really just say to Lauren, or you were talking, did you say, how do you know it's oneness playing? Did you
I can't
say
remember
that?
I can't remember what it's just wholeness playing by itself. It's just a play.
I know,
There's
but
this.
we don't know what it is. We don't
Oh, no,
know.
no.
We
No
don't
one
know if it's
knows.
one. How do we
No,
know it's one?
no one knows anything. It's just a play of words. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like saying peekaboo. It's an illusion. It's like saying this is dancing stillness. It's saying that this is empty fullness. It's a play of words. It's really kind of like I keep on saying that it's unknowable. That's not really
I know, because
it's nameless. Yeah. It's just
when you go
it's
back
just a
into the
poetic.
one, it like sort of like twisted my head around.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, really, because I started going, yeah, that's where I'm supposed to be in the merge, because
Oh, yeah.
that's where some of the spiritual ideologies went back in
That's
the
why
day,
that's why I avoid words sometimes like oneness, but somehow it came out today. Or
we're all one, and I
Yeah.
was like, well,
Yeah.
it just like unraveled me. I have to say, it unraveled me. Well, okay. It did it, whatever. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, anyway, I love the fairy tales. Love. And
Yeah.
did you know that the fairy tales are the same all around the world? So you probably have them in the Philippines too.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do. We have this beautiful fairy tales as well. And it's kind of funny when I was
They're all
writing
the
these
same.
tales, I just really
They're
like
all the same.
they're all the same. Yeah. There's
Yeah.
this illustrator and he draws this amazing animal. So I'm like, you know what? It'll be kind of great to tell a story using animals, but I kept on creating, like a collection of stories. And all of a sudden it can like clicked. I'm like, this is like a fairy tale without the fairy, what king and queen, but animal tales or household tales or something. And I remembered that and I was writing it and it's the same kind of like communication that this is presented. It's blunt. It's uncompromising. It's radical. Kind of like, when the first edition of the fairy tales was, with the Grimm brothers, right? It was very dark.
Yeah.
It was very dark, very dark. It was actually a story for it was a cautionary tale for kids in suffering, and then the oppressors, It's wow.
but the good always won. So you were,
Yeah.
we were supposed to read it to the kids, even even the children that, no, really, because
Well, the first,
oppressors in the fairy tales, the
yeah.
oppressor, the good always wins. And, you have to
Yeah.
give that kid that hope that the good is going to win.
Yeah. In the first
You know?
edition, it's not always the case. Try to listen to it. It's
Oh, yeah.
there's the original versions, they changed it into many different editions, right? So when what's out there right now is like highly edited and highly changed, editions. So I'm
Yeah, but
listening to the original ones, and it's kind of like brutal. I'm like, oh, there's
but you have to,
murder.
well, I mean, you have to find within it, the ones Hans wants. No, I mean, the father wants to get rid of the kids. He sends them into the woods, and little Hansel drops the breadcrumbs to find his way home. You're telling that to a 4-year-old, they're getting a little nervous.
did you know that the
but
father, in
then
the original,
you talk about how Hansel overcame all this
yeah,
evil,
yeah,
he was powerful. You gotta, you give the
yeah.
kids that
So
kind of
there's
power.
so in this tale, there's a non-duality twist.
Okay, figures. So it's R-rated.
It's for grown-ups, yeah. It's a bit R-rated.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll share the first. I'll share the first one in the next session. I have a story called The Three Blind Mice.
I cut off their tails with the carving knife.
It's based from there's the original Three Blind Mice movie song came from the Protestants, and there were 3 loyalists that was basically blinded by their loyalty to religion, and so I changed it. I'll tell the story after the break.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
From boohoo to woohoo.
From it's the same thing, just different,
Okay, love it.
Thank you, Kathy. Hello, my friend. Depressed, gray, empty, and tears, and no will to change or fix it. I kind of remember how wrong this was before and not socially acceptable. Now it's kind of free to be depressed, and happy in between. No rules. Beautiful talk. Thanks for the deaths. Thank you. It is what it is. There's this seeming idea of what this should be, the absence of, negative feelings, anything that it's a rejection of the undesirable. So it only becomes this attainment of what is desired. But so even getting rid of desire is just another desire. So this is just a circular desire. So what's being expressed here is the radical acceptance of everything, because it's all an empty boat. It's all nothing. Thank you, my friend, for sharing that. Patrice goes, now got me curious about the original tale of Hansel and Gretel. If you feel so inclined to recount. I don't remember much, but one was submitted that it was very dark in the beginning because the mother, their own mother, basically told the husband that we don't have anything to eat. So you have to basically get rid of your children. Was it the original one or was it this? I'm not really sure, but I'll read it again. I ended up after writing the 20 short animal tales, I ended up going to Audible and purchasing the original Hansel and Gretel, the original Grimm's fairy tale. And the introduction was really beautiful because they said that these were actually oral tales that was passed on to the Grimm brothers. And the Grimm brothers did not really edit in the beginning because they really wanted as a scholarly, book about the local kind of like folk tales about Hansel and Gretel and everything. But in a subsequent kind of like editions, they kept on polishing it to make it a bit more acceptable so that it can be told to children. But the original version, where there were so many, they had 200 stories in the original one, and I think there were so many of them that were omitted because they were not happy endings. There were no happily ever after. It was very grim. But when I don't remember it because I've listened to about 200, but it's so different from what I see it, from what I've heard of it. It's just a little bit more darker. Lauren goes, no size, shape, form, or extension. Yeah, what's being expressed is actually this immeasurable silence, this boundless emptiness. And again, we're just using words to express something that appears in everything. Basically, what's being expressed is it does not really appear as an idea. Even the idea of boundlessness, emptiness, unconditional love, non-duality are all ideas. They're all illusion. Thank you, Lauren. If you want to expand on that one, you can go ahead. Okay. Kathy, hello. I can't hear you.
I know.
Yeah.
I try to unmute when it's in the thing and I have to take it out of the holder to make the unmute. I wanted to tell you too, there's these stories, they're folk tales from Ghana. They're called Anansi. Have you heard of them?
No,
Anansi?
I haven't.
I don't know how old they are. They're really old, but he's the original Spider-Man.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they're
Cool.
really cool stories. He out tricks, everybody, rabbit, deer, whatever. They're really cool stories. But the kids used to like freak out because, I feel like it's the first Spider-Man.
There's so many beautiful
they loved
children's stories. Yeah. And I think it's just basically a remake into a non-dualistic, uncompromising, radical kind of like, endings. Because so it's not going to be for kids, so to speak. It's going to be, imagine saying the end, nothing happened. The kids would be like, what? But yeah, there's also stories.
Look at what Pinocchio did. I mean, come on. Look at what he went through to become real.
But he was always real and unreal at the same time. That would be the non-duality twist, right? So it will have all of those stories, but there's this reveal that, oh. It kind of like some of the stories breaks the fourth wall. For example, there's this I have one that I really love. It's about the sloth and the tiger. So there's this sloth on a tree that keeps on looking at the tiger, and basically keeps on saying, oh, I wish I was a tiger. I had the stripes, majestic and powerful. And then one day it had the courage. Basically, it yelled at the tiger, hey, Mr. Tiger, I want to be just like you. How can I practice to be like you? Is there a way to be like you? And the tiger responded, well, Mr. Sloth, you can't be a real tiger because I'm just an illustration. So it breaks the fourth wall and it goes further than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That kind of tongue in cheek, kind of like, it's still going to be not, it's going to be. And I think, in, I've always said this, that it's so simple that if you tell this to kids, you know what I'm saying, that kids that it's very, not understandable, but it's just what is. It's just the simplicity. It's just the directness of what is. Yeah.
And who doesn't love an animal?
No.
Come on.
I actually practiced this story with my little nephew, and he goes, yeah. And he goes, yeah. He gets it because it's not true. You can't pretend, you can't be someone, because they're not true. And I'm like, yep. Yeah. So it's very simple.
Cool. Yeah. That's great. That's great.
I can't wait to release it. I can't wait. It's just so exciting.
Oh yeah.
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 Can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
To recognize that a thing is an illusion, you also need to take the opposite of that in count for the reference, right? That's not really need an opposite. When it's seen that everything an illusion can be the opposite or anything. What's being expressed is that everything and anything is an illusion. There's nothing outside of the illusion. So everything that's perceived, everything that's seen or unseen, everything that's known or unknown appears in the realm of the illusion. So everything in a dream is a dream. For example, this is a dream. So everything that is being spoken here is dream speak. Everyone that it's speaking to is dream characters. Everything that is in this dreamscape. So everything is everything is in a dream. It doesn't need any opposites because opposite is just an illusion. And in the dream, anything that's opposite is also just a dream, meaning that there's not true. So there's nothing true or false. It's just a dream. So everything in the narrative, everything that appears on the book is a story. Hey, Lauren. Thank you, Tamir.
Hi again.
Hello again.
I was just thinking about the no size, shape, whatever, depth. And while I was listening as closely as I could to what you were saying before, about it being full.
Yes.
And for me, what that is sort of like is there's like a small space where that is always seeing everything. And you know, not fully at one with everything that's full, and therefore it seems incomplete. And so when you say that there's no size, or sorry, when you're saying that it's not an idea,
Mhm.
it's immeasurable but silent, and
Yeah.
I can't. I have to admit that every all I can ever come up with is an idea, I guess, because it's a visual.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So in the dream, right? Everything that you come up with is a dream. There's nothing outside of the dream. So since this is a dream, any idea is not real. Everything is a dream. Everything is an illusion. Everything is a story. That's what we're talking about, non-duality, right? There's not two. So in the dream, there can't be a not dream, and the dream, it's a dream. In the illusion, there can be not an illusion or real, and in an illusion, everything is an illusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea of a vacuum.
Yeah.
By that I mean like the image of space.
Yeah.
I guess I would still think of voices traveling through it for this.
Yeah, but that's also a dream, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like in a dream at night, the whole dream at night, the moment that you wake up, you could have won like $1 billion, or you could be flying in space, or you could be whatever. You know what I'm saying? You could have even died in a dream, but the moment that you wake up, none of it happened.
Yeah.
So none of this happening. So your idea about the universe, voices traveling through space, all that kind of stuff is an illusion. Everything is an illusion. So and that was the trick before, because I used to think there were hierarchy of illusions, right? You know, for example, there would be a sage or something. I'm like, wow, they have a better version of the illusion. I want that better version of the illusion, but everything is an illusion. So everything that you see, everything that you've heard, everything that you know is not true. It's an illusion. It's a complete structured, you know, it's complete it's made up. Everything is made up. Kind of like in a dream, everything is made up. And in the moment that you wake up, everything that you never even questioned, right? Like you could be, you know, tippy-toeing through top of the buildings and jumping, leaping building to building. You don't question that in a dream, and you wake up, you're like, huh, I was leaping through buildings last night, or I was swimming with sharks, and I was like riding kind of like a whale and something, and the whale was flying in the sky, and I was in the moon.
Yeah.
None of that is questioned. Like right now, you're not questioning, you know, the echoes going through space or this universe and everything. But all of this is singularly a dream.
And so and so unknowing is the blind is blind. Is that
this is actually kind of like since there's no opposite. So even if we say this is all blindness, we can also say that this is all vision. It's the same thing. So you can say that this is dreaming and awakeness at the same time. Because this is not really dreaming, because that's arriving at something. It's also awakeness. So it's not opposites, because this what's being expressed here does not have an opposite. Let's just use again. So it's like okay. Let me use it's a giant octopus with 8 billion tentacles. It's a singular thing.
Yeah.
But that octopus doesn't even exist.
That's funny, because I was going to ask earlier about a collective consciousness, and then I was like, well, there's no consciousness. So
yeah, there's no such thing as consciousness as well, because even the consciousness or even the octopus is an illusion.
Right.
So that's even a dream. That's what I'm saying. There's no way out of the dream. A dream, that everything that is conjured up in a dream is a dream. So when somebody says it's all consciousness, that's a dream statement. It's all awareness. It's a dream statement. It's all emptiness. That's all dream statement. So that's why before I start this talk, I say apparently what's
Yeah.
being suggested is because no one has ever, come into a conclusion. And then if somebody comes into a conclusion, that's also a dream character coming into a conclusion.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This dream character sort of sorts it to, okay, like this is because it's all the same. It's all no thing.
Yeah.
Then there's no relative, there's no relationship. So therefore it's everything and nothing at once.
Yes. But that's unimaginable.
Right.
Yeah. It's kind of like saying there's no time, but that thought appears in time for that thought to happen, for that statement to happen. So there's no thoughts because thoughts, there's no time. So how can thoughts appear in time? How can you and I appear in time? So in the absence of time, there's just this vibrant illusion of something happening in time. So since the progress of times and since there's no time, and it's just everything collapses. The idea of separation, the idea of you and me, even the universe collapses. There's no universe because there's no Big Bang and there's no beginning. So there's just this timeless. I like this analogy. It's like there's a wrinkle in timelessness. So there's a wrinkle in timelessness, and this is the wrinkle. This appearance of time, this appearance of you and I. So since a wrinkle, unwrinkles, it's just an illusion. It's not permanent. There's just this appearance of this illusory, time, illusory kind of like, finiteness. But this is the infinite appearing as this wrinkle we call you and I. We call separation. We call a dream. We call an illusion. We call real. So everything that has been named appears in this wrinkle, meaning none of it is real. It's just infinity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's incomprehensible because that is like,
yeah, it feels like it's just falling through.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So in the absence of time, all belief systems, all practices, all knowing, all conclusions collapses, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even this appearance is not real because there's no time. Even the identity of a me, a separate me or individual, in no time, there's no such thing. Or even I used to kind of like put up pedestals and everything. All of the pedestals can like crumbled, fell down because there's no history.
Mhm.
Everything that I can think about is just imagined. It's just a story. It's just a dream characters. So there's no hierarchy in the dream characters. There could be, there's no enlightenment basically, because that's just another dream. So everything that appears in a dream is a dream. It's dream speak. Swimming in dreams, thinking that it is, it has surface, but no, it's everything is in a sea of dreams.
Thinking it's so significant.
There's no significance. Yeah.
And there's no intention.
No.
But there's the appearance of process. Yeah.
There's an appearance of time. There's an appearance of you and me. There's an appearance of others. There's appearance of woohoo. There's an appearance of boohoo. It's all an appearance because all of these appearances changes. It changes. But since this is all still, so everything that's changing is an illusion. You can also say that nothing changes.
Mhm.
Because everything that changes, time, seasons, flowers, trees, babies, animals, all die. The universe dies, sun dies, everything. None of it is permanent. And then here's the apparent character seeker that is the importance of getting this when even that seeking is just a temporary thing. It doesn't matter. But since there's no one choosing to seek, and there's No one choosing to not seek. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna need some time. Thank you.
Thank you. You can't get out of this or get into anything else. Yes. It's always this. It's always this. Hello,
Hi.
Kathy.
There's no one choosing to seek, and there's no one choosing not to seek.
Yes. So whatever is appearing is just an appearance. There's no seeker. So seeking happens or not seeking happens. Both are the same. So
It's
there's no
just seeking.
hierarchy.
So it's seeking.
Yeah. It's just seeking or not seeking.
It's just seeking or not seeking for no
Yeah.
one.
For no
Yeah,
one.
for
Yeah.
no one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just this energetic, it's almost like this neurotic tendency sometimes where it's kind of like looking for
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
It's like I compare it to like looking for your glasses when it's on the top of your hat or your head. You're like, where is it?
Yeah.
Where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a neurosis.
It's in neurosis. Yeah. It's like you've lifted couch, you've cleaned the whole house, you've raked
Yeah.
outside, and then sometimes you forget what you're looking for sometimes. There's just this. It's a doing. It's a doing. It's an inging. It's the illusioning. It's the dreaming.
Mm.
So when the seeking or not seeking is a dream, they're equally the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, because seeking or not seeking is a dream. It's an illusion. Enlightened or not enlightened, awakened or not awakened is the same. It's an illusion.
What about meditation?
Meditation and no meditation is the same. It's an illusion. There's no one choosing to do it. Some apparent characters meditate. There's nothing wrong or right about that.
Mm.
Everything is the same. Everything in the dream is a dream. So in the dream, this character used to meditate nonstop and everything, but there was an apparent neurosis because it was looking for something that's already this. So it kept them going for hours and hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, practicing
But there's nothing
awareness.
wrong with it.
No. I'm not saying there's
Nothing wrong
something
with
wrong
it.
with it. But what was seen is that, when it's seen that there's just this, then there seems to be I'm going to watch some Netflix today. I'm going to walk the dog. I'm going to dance. I'm going to,
Yeah.
saying there's just this
Yeah.
liberation for whatever it is because there's no more intention. There's no more agenda. There's no more kind of like trying to be. There's no more looking.
But I don't know. And I think I heard, and of course, I don't remember much, so I could go back and find it. Like how do I explain it? Like meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just like some things just like add. You're not trying to get, you're not really see. Do you understand? I'm trying to say, I think
Well,
that
there's no one choosing
Dawn,
to meditate or not, right? So if it happens, it happens. Who cares? Yeah.
but it's kind of like what I'm trying to get at, and because this doesn't make any sense really, if there's nobody here, but it kind of like enlivens the aliveness already. I don't know. You can't. You would say you can't make it any more alive, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes there's something that I just. And believe you me, I not that I was ever a meditator. I was not like what you went through, did all that kind of stuff, but that I'm not like in that category. But it's
Yeah.
like sometimes I don't know. It's just like
So in the story of
wow.
someone that has apparently seemingly, although this is just another story, have mastered it and teaches it to others, and basically says, this is worthless. This is pointless. It's like going back to the teacher and saying, can you give me an advice on meditation, and the teacher that has given up, basically saying that this is pointless, it's going to say, well, you know what, there's nothing wrong or right about that, but this character said it was pointless because this is already this. And again, no one's going to follow that or under, you know what I'm saying? It's just a story. So pointless or
Can you
not
make it,
pointless. Sorry, go ahead.
can you make it better?
What's supposed to be better? This?
That's what I'm asking you.
No, because making it better makes it worse.
Making it better makes it-
There's something wrong with this.
That's what I'm saying. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with this. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
what I'm trying to say. But
reinforces the separateness of this, because
yeah,
it's rather than seeing that, oh, it's just this, it's always this, then there's something wrong with this, then I have to make it better.
see that's what I mean. That makes
Yeah.
me feel a little guilty.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong about, trying to make it better. It's just what is. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just what is. No matter what it is, it's always this. So if
Yeah.
this appears as meditation, it's this as well. Right? But when it's seen that there's no maintenance of this, that this is just whatever it is, then the neurosis and the trying to get somewhere, trying to make it better, that's the one that dies. That's the one that is seen as just this cyclical loop of trying to better, not better, better, not better. So it's a it's a dualistic reinforcement of what is, because what is should be just supposed to be what is according to someone, but there are no others.
But dancing makes it better.
Dancing always makes everything better.
Yeah. You see how you see how there's a catch for me. I'm caught.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
but there's no you that's caught. You see? So if there's a Kathy that's meditating, there's nothing wrong with it. If there's a Kathy that is not meditating, there's also nothing wrong with it. It's the same. It's the same.
but for the apparent person or whatever it is, what do you call it? Well, this whole apparent person.
For the seeking energy, there's something to get. So when the seeking energy collapses, when there's nothing to get, so if meditation happens, it happens. If meditation doesn't happen, it's just what is. So whatever it is, it is. So it could be dancing, it could be, but this is just a story of Emerson, right? So when I used to spend 4 hours every day meditating and gazing inwards and going inner work and all that kind of stuff, I have so much time now. I can write children's books, I can walk my dog and be happy and just enjoy this paradise. Because trying to meditate it's like something was lost. It's looking for the paradise within, but there's no within and there's no outside. Everything is the same. So there's no going inward, no going
You're too
outward.
far. You're too far. You understand? You're way too far out there. 4 hours of meditation. I'm talking about 4 hours of meditation.
Well, I was aiming for mastery, right? That's why I did that. I think at one time I was kind of like, I had this meditation journal, right? Basically, it's kind of like to keep track of how many hours I've meditated. And you know what they say, when you reach 10,000 hours, you've mastered it. You're like, I can now teach others how to be silent.
I don't know.
There's nothing wrong or right about that, but it's just what's happening. So when it's seen that there is silence, saying is everything. When there's no dualistic, neurosis or schizophrenia, basically, right? When it's sanely seen that everything is whole and complete already, when everything is seen as it is, not as it should be, now what could be, there's nothing in the future, it's just this. So every time, everything that's presented as this is not rejected or nor accepted. It's just what is. It's just what is. And there's no words, you know what I'm saying, to try to express what this is. So there's a retirement of sorts of this spirituality becomes kind of like a chapter in the book. It's just a story. So seeking becomes a story. It's like a dream that happened the night before. You're like, oh, I was a spiritual seeker. What was that? So then there's this lightness. Then he goes dancing at night, wakes up in the morning to see the sunset rather than going inward, the sunrise, sorry. That's my favorite thing to do right now, actually, is wake up before this, walk with my dog and see the sunrise coming up. It's so beautiful, you know, the goldenness of it and everything. Rather than, lighting some incense, going inwards, dressing up in, in white, kind of like make sure that the energy is pure.
What kind of white did you wear?
No, this was white clothing, just so that you're kind of like, it's a purity. Yes, and sunset too. I like the sunsets too. So there was this a performative kind of like trying to be holy, trying to be sacred, trying to be consciousness or wholeness or whatever, right? So there's this trying to unite with something that was never separated, trying to be God. But anything, again, it can, like what I was saying to Lauren earlier, anything that is in this dream is a dream. So any definitions, any words, any understanding, spirituality, non-duality, radical, whatever it is a dream. It's an idea. So there's no such thing, actually. This is the no thing, but that's even an idea. Even the absence of ideas is an idea. Even everything is an idea. So there's just this relaxedness here, kind of like almost like okay, the search is over. There's no one searching. Call off the search kind of thing. No one was missing. Because it's kind of like seeking is like, you've gone missing and you're looking for yourself. Emerson is missing, and call a search party and all of a sudden, all of a sudden you're like, oh shoot, it's a dream. So you call off the search.
Yeah.
So there's just no more neurosis in trying to, maybe he went high on the mountaintops, is meditating there somewhere. Maybe he went to a cave, I'm saying, it's an inward journey or something. Maybe he's out partying, but there's no such thing, because everything, that idea of Emerson in a cave, idea of Emerson in a 4-day party is the same. It's a dream. It's a dream character that feels absolutely real. So when it feels absolutely real, why not have fun? Why not walk and see the sunrise or the sunset rather than going kind of like meditating for 4 hours or trying to kind of like, making sure that, my idea of what holiness or my idea of purity, my idea of all of these are just ideas of trying to be oneness, trying to be holy, trying to be enlightened. It's all a performance. So when it's all performative, saying, so when there's this just a play, there's this kind of like, why do I want to perform that when there's just this joyfulness, aliveness that is in the walking with the dog, dancing, eating, chatting with my mom, making her laugh. There's just this happiness because it doesn't need maintenance. Nothing is maintained anymore. Freedom does not require maintenance because it's free. So when freedom is being maintained, it's an idea of what freedom is.
I don't know. I you're to this too far to the left or whatever.
There's no
I'm
left.
serious. It's, I just like, I'm just talking like planting a flower.
Yes.
On that same level.
Okay.
Okay.
I get you. Yeah, I get you. Because when I was, if I heard this when I was this in this spiritual kind of like, misunderstanding, this would be too far gone. This is would be like, woof, what the hell? It's like, so I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is way too far off. But
Yeah.
but in a dream, even way too far off is just a dream. In a dream, even planting the seed, the beginning, or way too far off, is the same. Meaning it's all an illusion. It's all not real.
I know, but what's wrong?
There's nothing
What's
wrong,
wrong?
and there's nothing right at the same time. Yeah.
What's wrong? I just say this is ridiculous now. I mean, this is getting ridiculous.
Oh, it is. It is. It is. It is.
You
It
think
is.
it is?
Everything is ridiculous.
Oh my goodness. I don't even want to say it now. I almost dropped the phone, and I got to find the thing to plug it in because it keeps giving me the warning that it's going to cut off. I don't know how to
So
say
all that
it.
there is this. So in this, everything is included. Everything is allowed. So there could be meditation happening, not meditation happening, seeking happening, not seeking happening, but it's always this. And there's nothing wrong with this. There's just this seeking energy that there's got to be something wrong with this. So if there's meditation happening, if that makes the character happy, why not?
Yeah.
Trying to find
Okay.
trying to
Got
find
it.
something wrong, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Although nothing is necessary,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with whatever is happening. It's not about a correction. It's not about wrong or right. Everything is just what it is.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
All right.
Waiting for the fairy tales.
All right. Waiting for the happily ever after. That seems
Yeah.
to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if it's just happy and there's never after?
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Emerson.
Thank you, Kathy. Does liberation turn you into a morning's a person? Liberation is just it doesn't turn anyone into anything. It doesn't become a superpower or something. In the story, there seems to be what I usually hear is, for example, if somebody is a control freak, all of a sudden they're kind of like, oh shoot, you know what? There's no more trying to control anything here because it's seen that there's no one doing it. It's pointless. Or in the story, you know what, this character did not really wanted to enjoy the day. It just wanted to sleep in bed. There was depression happening and would just stay in bed as long as it can because it can tolerate the nighttime dreams, but it can't seem to tolerate the daytime dreams. So there seems to be a staying in bed, laying in bed, getting drunk at night, and that kind of stuff. So when there was an apparent liberation for no one, there was this aliveness of wanted to, see the sunrise, see the sunset, walk, for hours, see this wonderful paradise, because it's seen as, yes, exactly. No, there's no more escaping this. No trying to get to this because it's always this. There's always thisness. And this is, it's finally enough. There's finally contentment. And let's just even put the opposite. So even if it sleeps in, that's all right too. Because whatever it is, it is. But this apparent character is a morning person, wakes up, maybe because of the meditation before, but but when it lost the spirituality, it went into party mode and woke up like, slept more. But seemingly, after this apparent seeing that there was no one that needs to be liberated because everything is liberation already. There seems to be an aliveness, an excitedness about what is. Hi, Emerson. I'm excited about your upcoming book. What inspires you? Um, I'm not sure. There's just this aliveness. There's just this randomness that seems to, there's just this aliveness, that there's this excitement for what is. So there's this walking, there's this writing. So whatever is happening, there seems to be um there's no one accepting, but seemingly kind of like a full-on expression of it. So for example, on the weekend, I would write for 10 hours and it just gets excited. And then there's just this passion that's, that can't really be explained. And I was laughing with one of the book editors, because we're laughing. I'm like, well, you know what? These books don't really sell much. Maybe 10 copies, 20 copies. So it's definitely not for money, because there's non-duality is not a popular kind of like, if I wrote a book about the spirit of now or something like that, or the the magical, this or something like that, then it would probably sell more copies. But with radical non-duality, it's actually not, it's not popular, and there's a no rightness with that. There's a so what with that. Yes, and then when we come back for the next one, I'm actually going to write read, sorry, from a couple of the books. Yeah. I was laughing with the editor because it was just such an easy flow of working together with someone. The apparent editor also is a non-doer. So just doing happenings, writing happenings, editing happenings. There's just this flow. Oh, thank you, Kane. Kathy,
Oh, yeah. How'd you know?
I saw your hand. You raised your
Oh.
hand.
No, I didn't really get to the hand yet.
I see it. You see it there.
Well, now you see it. Now you see it. Now you don't. There's a really good song. It's called Party Mode. I
Party
swear.
mode.
Party Mode. Yeah. But you'll probably never get to hear it because it's on a country western.
I've been listening to some country western.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's a really cool song. I like it. And that
I love the heartbreaking songs, the really sad, like the world has ended kind of song because my lover left kind of song. The you can almost feel the desperateness. It's beautiful, twangy and desperate. Some of the older country songs.
Yeah, I don't like those kinds. And I don't like the Sex Pistols either.
The Clash is good. Have you heard the Clash?
Yeah, I didn't like them either. Yeah.
Do you like ska?
Who?
Ska?
How do you spell it?
Like madness. SKA.
Never heard of them.
The Specials. Okay, it's all right. It's all
Never
in the
heard.
punk thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that must be really what kind of like music?
No, I like a whole bunch of
Punk.
music. I like
Oh, like punk. Yeah.
I like new wave too. I like yeah, a whole bunch.
Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you besides to listen to Party Mode because it's a fun song. But do you know who Woody Allen is?
Yes.
Oh, you do? I didn't
Yeah.
think you would because you
Yeah.
seem like you'd be too young to know him. He made a bunch of funny movies and he's a
Yeah.
director. But one of his line that always stuck with me, something that he said once or twice. I don't want to blow it, so I'm trying to get my thoughts together. He said, anybody who'd want me to be a member of their club, I'm suspect.
I don't remember that movie. Is
It's
that from
not
a movie?
No, it's like it like sums everything up.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Who wants me to be a member of their
Yeah.
group,
It's a suspect. Yeah. Got it.
I'm suspect. It wasn't I'm suspect. I forget exactly what he said, but it's like, like
it's suspect.
that.
Is suspect.
Yeah, that says it all. I mean, that says it all.
Yeah.
Do not pass go. Do not belong to any of them.
No.
None of them.
No.
Yeah.
No. And that seems to be when there is a leader or a teacher, so to speak, right? When someone has the power, when there is because I was there, I was the leader and everything, right? My brothers and some of my good old friends make fun of me now, and they're like, "Did you know that you were a cult leader?" Because my brother has witnessed, he would go with me to the studio, and then everybody's like would hush when I walked in, as a spiritual teacher. Everybody would would try to know my brother because they're like, oh, and everyone
to get in with you. Yeah.
Or my sister would be like, she loves photography. She would take pictures of us. And then she said, they're your minions. I'm like, what do you mean? They look at you. They said they gaze at you, like lovingly gaze at you. And I'm like, they do? I didn't see it, right? Because I was in that whole construct, in that illusion of I was doing something for them, and it was my purpose. It was my calling. This is what I'm meant to do. This is my dharma. This is and just caught up in that. And from the outside, I'm saying, from the people like my family or my friends that were prior to this spirituality, they're like, oh, that's really, or one time my parents, what I'm saying, there's these people that were saying that, oh, your son is like a saint and all this kind of stuff. And my parents probably thinking, really? Or, they were, or my mom, when she saw what I was doing, she was like, this is what Jesus would do, kind of thing, right? This is what serving, kind of like all of these people. So, but it's very blinding, this kind of stuff, right? Because it's blindness. It's not seeing what is. It's just getting caught up in the narrative that there is that I have something that you don't, that I can give you something. And so when there's honesty, when there's when the leader is struck, what I'm saying, with grace or something, or kind of like with guilt, that it's a facade, there's this imposter syndrome, when it honestly expresses that, you know what, I didn't really know anything. I thought that I got it, but I lost it, kind of thing. But seemingly what happens is that the leader that seemingly got it maintains it and teaches others how to maintain it, therefore creating a blindfold on all of its followers, because they're blindly following along. This is already going into what I'm going to be talking the next talk about, the blind mice, the blind following the blind, right? Because it maintains this perceived clarity, it maintains this imagined peace. But when that peace gets disturbed, there's no one immune. There's no one immune to this wowness of this. This wowness can appear as a disastrous appearance in life, like someone dying or a relationship or a bankruptcy or whatever seems to happen. So the one that's maintaining this peace, or the gatekeeper of enlightenment or awakening, when it gets disturbed, does not know what to do, because it thought that it got the grace. It thinks that it's consciousness. It thinks that it's awareness, that it's immune to all of this apparent suffering. So when it hits them and doesn't not know how to deal with it, it drags along all of its followers into some suffering.
Yeah,
rather
sure
than
does.
rather than taking its loss and saying, you know what, I'm sorry, I fucked up, and I'm going to I'm going to take a break. I'm going to step down, right?
Yeah.
Because I was wrong. So that's although there's a combination of stepping down and also asking to get to step down.
Yeah.
It's hard to give up that position, the position of being a on a pedestal, because when you're in a pedestal you get crucified. That's what I see. It's always that way. So when
Yeah.
this expression is happening, when this sharing is happening, that there's nothing that's needed, there's just this easiness, there's this joyfulness, because what's seen here is also seen there. This is empty here, that's empty there. There's nothing needed here, there's nothing needed there. There's a speaking happening here, there's a listening happening there, but there's nothing being offered. It's just basically clarifying or illuminating that it's already empty. It doesn't need anything. And it doesn't have any control of what it can do or cannot, or can do, or what it's doing, because it's already perfection as it is, without the idea of what perfect is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's liberation appearing as whatever, unconditionally. It's love. Everything is love, but not the idea of what love is. The unconditional love as it is. So when it's seen that it's as it is, meditating or not meditating, seeking or not seeking, there's just this openness. There's this laughter. There's no seriousness here. There's no maintenance. There's no audience.
But your spiritual bank book is bigger than mine.
How do you know?
Oh, I know. Oh,
I gambled it with nothing and I lost all of it. No, there's no spiritual bank books. They're illusory as well.
oh, I know that.
But if you invest in, I'm just joking.
Touche.
It is what it is. It is what it is. It's kind of funny what they say is that, I've always remembered this, that it is biblical as well, and you cannot enter, until you have nothing, the kingdom. And that's just a story as well, But I remember that. And that's why it was so difficult, because there was this maintenance, there was this portfolio of spiritual accomplishments, 10,000 hours of mastery and meditation, 1,000 people helped, all that kind of stuff. It really meant nothing, and it's really difficult to give that up in the apparent story anyway, and just have the clarity that there's nothing needed. Because prior to this seeing that nothing is needed, I thought that I was buying my ticket to paradise. So when I was doing selfless service, it was actually for my higher self. You know what I'm saying? I have a higher self account. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's like the cryptocurrency in spirituality. So yeah, so I was banking on the selfless service that I was doing, hopefully, so that I can maintain the enlightenment, maintain the maintain being stale or something. And it's kind of like when there's this attainment, it's kind of like I was talking to someone that has a lot of money, and they can't help but keep on looking at their bank account over and over again, although there's a lot there. It's the same with spiritual maintenance.
Yeah.
It keeps on kind of like looking at what it has achieved, what it has done, and it caught up in that illusion that it is on a purpose or on a mission. Sometimes earnestly, or sometimes, just to make money as well. Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an illusion. It's just a dream, right? But there was this greediness at the end of it as a spiritual teacher in both authority and power and attainment. Because it just keeps on growing and growing and growing and growing, right? So what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? It likes growing its audience. It doesn't want to let go because it's nothing without its students.
Yeah.
So it can't let go of the student. So it keeps the student strung along.
Yeah.
So what's
But it's
being...
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I forgot what I was going to say.
It's like the thing though, the indoctrination that began at a very early age.
It
You
is. It
understand?
is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it happens to a lot of people, and you know, you have to be responsible. You know, there's a certain, you just can't be happy for yourself. You don't, you get,
No.
there's a responsibility, and like, I don't want to think about Ukraine or something like that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an
where
apparent indoctrination, but that's just appearing
absolutely.
in this. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's like in spirituality, there has to be someone leading you or guiding you to get
Mm,
through this. And this is quite difficult to hear for a lot of people when it's saying that it's already done.
this, yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
already
already done.
this.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah. It's difficult. Yeah, it is difficult because there's this maintenance of authority. Because
Yeah,
again, in the story of a character, there's the parents, there's the teachers, there's always an authority. But when there's this opportunity, apparent opportunity, there's no opportunities to see that it's done. It's done its childhood phase of looking for authority or teachers and everything. When it's free, it keeps on going back to somebody's teach me something. It's like it doesn't want to move out. It's free.
it's
It doesn't want to move
like
on.
somebody said to me one time, well, you were born, I think it was Jim Newman. Oh, you were Catholic. Oh, you yeah, that's yeah, the original sin. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's always your responsibility to the other man, in a sense.
It's the illusion of others as well, right? The illusion of separation as well, that
Yeah,
there's the shame. For shame and guilt to appear, there has to be a belief in others. There
yeah,
has
of
to
course.
be a belief in and that originates from the appearance that there is a source, that there is a creator, that you are not worthy. But let's just erase all of that. It's all a dream. The creator, the you, the separation, the shame, the guilt. So the moment that there's this awakeness and it's seen that, ooh, nothing happened, then it doesn't carry imaginary rocks uphill to reach the crucifix. Does that make it? It creates this imaginary suffering of holding on to rocks about its history, its sin, its imperfection, not worthy, and it carries it uphill, thinking that it has to go to a higher state where it can get crucified. Still suffering.
Yeah.
It's all a dream.
Just can't be figured out anyway. So.
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
it's all a dream.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Lauren Rock goes, what is the source of the anchorless clarity? There's no source, because again, in a dream, if you think that there is a source, that's just another dream idea. So when there's just clarity, clarity is just as it is, that this is a dream that feels absolutely real, although that's just another idea in the dream as well. But there's this clarity that there is nothing happening, that everything seems to happen is also not happening, and it cannot really be something that is an idea. It's just this resonance. It's just this gut feeling, although that's saying too much, that there's this happening which is not happening at the same time, and there's this hooray, all that there is this, and there's nothing outside of this, and this is a dream, and this is an illusion, and everything that appears in the dream or appears in the illusion is always an illusion or always a dream. Dream languages, dream characters, dream ideas, dreamt conflicts, dreamt everything. So when everything is seen in the dream as an appearance, and there's this awakeness happening at the same time in the non-happening. So there's this dream and awakeness simultaneously appearing. It's seen clearly, clarity, that this is just a free-flowing dream of nothing. And that's even saying too much. Or when it's seen that anything that's done in the illusion is just an illusion. So everything that it produces is an illusion. Illusory ideas, illusory attainment, illusory practices, then nothing really matters. There's a so whatness. There's a who cares. And there's a woohoo. Woohoo. Thank you so much, everyone. We're going to take an hour break, and we'll be back in